Hello guys, JongLi here, back with another online commentary battle for Rome Total War. This time it's a 2 versus 2 31k rules battle. I'm playing as the Julii Romans and my ally is Igne, natura, renovatur, integra, I think. We are playing against Toa of the Brotherhood clan and Killerby, who has renamed himself Alec, also of the Brotherhood clan. So what I understand is Toa is a newer player. Sorry, not newer player. He's an older player, but he's come back just recently, so he is a bit rusty. And Igne Natura, I think this might be his first time playing 31k. Maybe he's watched a few videos online or something of the sort, because he does seem to know some basic stuff about it, at least. Or maybe he's played 1 or 2 games before, but he's a pretty new player. So we'll get the battle started. As you can see, the battle goes on for quite a while, but the setup did take a bit longer than usual. So we're just gonna walk up, I think, to each other. And at this point, Killer Bee and Toa switched places. So I guess Killer Bee wanted to face me because I was the more experienced player and he wanted Toa to face off against Igne to maybe shake off some of the rustiness. So I guess while we're walking we can go through the builds. Myself and Igne have just brought 14 opens and 6 Praetorian Cav, whereas Toa and Killer Bee have brought some archers as well. So Toa has got 3 archer auxilia, and they look like they're gold, maybe gold silver. And Killer Bee's got 1 archer auxilia, and it appears to be gold silver as well. These urbans are gold, and so to sacrifice, so he decided to sacrifice some cav for maybe a few more urbans and this archer auxiliary unit, whereas Toa decided to sacrifice 2 cav and 1 urban for these 3 archer auxiliary units. So Killer Bee does have a few more urbans. Looks like he's got 9, 12, 16 urbans. So anyway, what we've got to try and do is use our cavalry superiority to our advantage in this battle. But I've also got to make sure that I'm taking the appropriate measures to cater for Igne. So yeah. So at the start, I think Igne was a bit nervous. He kept his guys behind mine most of the time. As you can see, neither side is really making any biggish moves. Oh, sorry about this. I'll reply to that later. Anyway, yeah, so neither side is making any biggish moves right now. Toa is trying to use his archer auxiliary to get shots into the cavalry, which is pretty good. And he's testudoing this urban cohort to protect them as well. And Killer Bee has brought these extra urbans, and he's going to try and use these extra urbans to support Toa when he gets into the infantry fight. So they are going for definitely a slower game plan here, the Brotherhood team. These archers, obviously if they're not dealt with quickly, they will just get tremendous value, because if they get all their volleys off, it'll be pretty devastating. So what we've got to try and do is really get the infantry fight started and use our cavalry to get a decisive edge on the enemy team. So Igne is moving his cavalry up to the flank, it seems, but these archer auxilia are here and they are ready to shoot them. So Toa is going to be able to shoot them a little bit. And at this point, I was aware that Igne seemed pretty nervous, I think, or maybe he wasn't too sure what to do. So I just told him to, you know, it's alright, you can go aggressive. I'll support you if you go aggressive, so it's fine. And I took things slower on my side because I wanted Igne to kind of just do what he felt like, and I would just cater for him. So Killer B seems to be folding in his flank there. He seems to be, they're obviously going for a very defensive game plan, but I think he was trying to give more freedom to Toa as well by keeping me occupied. So I'm just going to just, you know, make some small engagements here and there. Try and micro my stuff here nicely. All the time, just keeping an eye on Igne and making sure he doesn't get into too much trouble. So Igne has put some urbans into the fight here. Looks like he's just gonna pull out some of those. Maybe engage these ones. So he's just trying to push through. Not push through, but trying to get the infantry fight started, I suppose. And it looks like Toa's going to maybe start taking the infantry fight a little bit further as well. On my side, nothing's really changed. I'm still just, you know, engaged in some small fights, but nothing too big. We can also see that, curiously, Toa's decided to put his general in his cavalry unit. So we'll see how that works out for him. Yeah, so all is going pretty normally so far. Looks like these archers have been able to get a bead on these Praetorian cav and getting shot on the flank. They will lose a few men. This definitely makes Igne more cautious and he pulls back his cavalry. Seeing this, Toa will probably go for something slightly more aggressive. Killer B's also got one of his archer auxilia here, so maybe they're going to try and shoot more arrows into these Praetorian cav if they come close. Otherwise, they don't seem to be doing anything. I think maybe they should still maybe be used a little bit to shoot the urbans since they're not in testudo. But I can understand why they were trying to save them for the cavalry. So with these two cav, I was planning to get a line on this battle here, and I'm trying to help out with the infantry fight. But you'll see a problem with this later. This was probably not a good move. Yeah, Igne is keeping his cavalry pretty far back. Although normally it would be a concern, Toa and Killer B don't have their cavalry in well, they're not ready to attack with their cavalry. They're definitely trying to go for the counter charge and force us to attack first in order to do that. But anyway, I'm going in with these two Praetorian cav units, and I'm getting really greedy. So the mistake I made with them was aiming for this unit here, which is super greedy, because they'll only get the charge if they get to about here. So I was very overly optimistic. And what ended up happening was they just got caught on this urban unit, and because I thought they would be able to make it, but obviously they didn't. In the end, what ends up happening is my two cavalry units rout, and that's also thanks to some of the fire arrows, not fire arrows, to the regular arrows from these archers here, and fire arrows, I guess. Looks like Toa has gone in for one small charge, and it's routed one or two of the units. So seeing this and seeing Igne's inventory is now a bit thin, I'm going to send over a few urbans. Some of them get snagged on this unit here, but I'm just going to run them through, and since it's not too big, it's not going to do too much damage. Yeah, and this is okay right now because Killer B isn't really pressuring my line at all. So although he's free to also send help like this to Toa, I'm also free to send help to Igne. So it looks like Igne's gone for a very far flanking movement with these cavalry units. This is generally not good because that means these guys can just go in for a charge and pull out without these guys being quick enough to react. But in this case, it's not terrible because the Brotherhood team are in a very defensive mindset right now. They want to drag this battle out, and so they're unlikely to go for any charges, I think. But it's still a lot better if Igne could keep his cavalry closer. But Toa's seen this, I guess, and he's gonna try and take the opportunity to get a rout on these center units here. Igne has seen this, so he's moving a few urbans to back them up, and I'm also going in for a counter charge, but they do pull out well before I get there. So I'm aiming for this unit here. I decide to go and get maybe a rout anyway. So I charge in, but yeah, I only really get one rout. But what this does, it creates an opportunity for Igne to use his cavalry. So now he's going to charge in all his cavalry, and this will go right into Toa's cavalry. Remember, Toa only has 4 cav units, so since Igne has 6, he should win that if it was just a one-on-one cav versus cav fight. But by this time I regrouped my cavalry and I have a perfect line, and this charge will be pretty devastating. And it also looks like the enemy general, Toa's general, which was a cavalry unit, also had quite an effect on morale, since he died, because if your general will be in the front of the engagement, and there is a high chance that he will just get killed if you put him in the cavalry unit instead of an infantry unit, which is why I prefer to put my general in my infantry. As you can see, he's quite safe there. So I've gone in for a charge here, hoping to do the same thing as before, but with the morale penalty not quite as high, since these Praetorian Cav have been engaged for a while, and also these fire arrows coming in, and with still a lot of units left on the Brotherhood team, I didn't get a rout, unfortunately. The good thing is, and this was something I missed just then, I did manage to get a really nice slice charge this time along this side, so now the entire center is more or less freed up. Also, I charged in here, targeting a general, and I have managed to rout him. So that's both generals routed, and that should reduce the morale for all the enemy units. I pursued some of the cav here, and I managed to rout 2 of them, luckily. And with only 1 cav unit, Killaby's not really able to go for a counter charge there. So at this point, what I'm trying to do is move more infantry units to this side to support my ally, as well as just try and tie up these urban cohorts here and stop Killaby from supporting Toa. Over here, going for a charge, but it's not too effective since these urbans are facing this way. There are fire arrows coming in, of course, and yeah, I didn't really catch any units with that charge, so it wasn't very good. I only got 1 rout maybe, and so yeah, that wasn't really worth it, but I didn't lose too many cavalry units there. On this side, I am winning. I do have units in the back, so the morale for these guys is lowered, and I do have more units, so they will slowly win this fight. I've also got 2 units here in case Killaby or Toa tries to bring units around, which is what Killaby's trying to do now. But yeah, I'm going for a charge there. Igne cleverly picks up on that, and he also goes in for a very nice charge, and together we managed to rout this pocket of Scipii Romans. Looks like an urban cohort unit has come back, and these Arch Auxilia are still alive, but they're not going to be able to make much of a difference now that we have such an overwhelming advantage in infantry. So I quickly charge my cavalry from there to here, routing, pretty much causing a chain rout, and looks like these guys are just going to follow suit. So all the enemy team has left these archers here, but they're just going to get chased off. We've got easily enough infantry and cavalry, and yeah, this last unit of urbans, which is being held up by one of my urbans, but I will be sending more dudes there shortly. So we can just fast forward it, I guess. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Well played to everyone. Very good game, and I'll see you next time.